a tight contest on Friday against Augustana. Saturday, it kind of seemed like third period. Uh, kind of a collapse there. How do you think the weekend went in your eyes, both Friday and Saturday?
Yeah, I don't think the third period collapsed at all, actually. I'll get back to that. But um, they're a real good opponent. I had them picked in the top two. Uh, they do everything right. They don't cheat the game. You have to earn your offense against them. They do a great job protecting the middle of the ice. And then I thought we had a really good start on Friday night. I think it was 0-0 after one. I think any time you can do that on the road against a good opponent, it levels the playing field. And I think they went up 1-0. I think it was 1-0 going into the third period. So you'll take that. And I thought they did carry the plate a little bit in the second period. It got away from us. Um, I didn't like our puck game. I thought we struggled with our puck. Our D struggled by advancing pucks to the next zone. And then the third period, we had chances. Again, we come down to chances to score. We need to capitalize, and a big part of that is again the power play. Their special teams won the game, I thought, and I thought they carried the play and they're on their attack, but we didn't get a chance to capitalize any of our looks on the power play. Even we had limited looks, and I think with power plays, if you're not scoring, you got to be able to generate shots. You get energy from that, and we were unable to do so. So I thought they were the better team on Friday, and we needed to do better on our power play and penalty kill. I think they got one, um, and I thought that was the difference in the game. And then on Saturday, I thought it was one of our best games of the year, to be honest with you. We did a lot of good things, and I thought we were the better team for 2.5 periods. And you look at our shot total, 42. Last time they gave up 42 shots in their arena, anybody? It's been well over a year. And it's the most shot totals we've had this year. And I loved how our guys responded. After you lose how you lost on Friday, it's always a mental challenge to overcome that to be better. And usually, youthful teams like ourselves, you can either fold or you can rise up and play better. And I was proud of our guys. We rose up, played better against a good team. I thought we carried the play. And I thought our second period was one of the best second period, if not our best second period of the year. I thought we controlled the play. We got a lot of shots on net. Um, I thought the difference in the game when we're up 1-0, we had four grade A opportunities that we didn't convert to extend the lead. Four grade A's. And if you get one of them, maybe it's a little bit different. And then it was 1-1. I think we had one for sure, if not two, to extend the lead. And we were unable to do so. And then they got some good players, and they got two net front goals where we lost out on blocking shots or boxing out in front of the net, and they created some chaos in front. And give kudos to them; they did a better job of that. So obviously not happy, disappointed we didn't come away with any points. The positive was how we responded on Saturday night. Again, I thought we were the better team 2.5 periods. That's not enough. And the message to our group is we liked a lot of our game, but we still have to do more because that's not good enough. At the end of the day, you got to find ways to win. And a big part of that is shot generation, which we did. We got to score in our power play and manage the puck, and we were able to do that. And now we just got to punch in and capitalize on our opportunities on our special teams and 5-on-5 and continue to tighten it up defensively.
Is that something you'll work on a lot this week? Is the special teams going into the rivalry game here against Tech?
Well, we work on it every week. Special teams is important. We double down on it every single week. And, with young groups, you're still messing with some combinations of what works, what doesn't work, who's a threat to score, who's a better passer. We're still kind of working our way through that. But on Saturday, we had four grade A chances on the power play. We just didn't convert on it. So we had the right people on the ice. We just need to cash in. So we do work on it quite a bit. No different than any other team.
You mentioned you like the response on Saturday. Is that encouraging going into this weekend, knowing that no matter what happens this Friday, you're coming back home for Saturday, and the guys should be up for it?
Yeah, they should be up for every game, but We like the fact because you can look at a young team, and we said this after Friday night, because our guys were down. They're down. They thought they played good for segments of the game, which they did, but it wasn't good enough. And you lose on a Friday night like that, and it beats you up mentally with a young team. We're not an older, battle tested team. We're still finding ways to try to create a winning environment. In order to do that, you got to win a hockey game, and to overcome that mentally is a big challenge. But our guys were challenged, and they responded in an unbelievable way to have the start that we did and carrying the play that we did. You're going, okay, we got something here. Now we got to be consistent with that. You can't drop off, knowing that we got to be on the attack, knowing every puck matters, and I think that's a positive thing. And you got to build off that, but it's not enough. We got to do a little bit more.
Is that kind of the message now that you're into conference play? Is just got to pick up points, and knowing it's a long season, you got a long way to go. Just want to put yourself in the best position come the end of the year. Have you communicated with the team that way, saying non-conference is over, we got tested, probably learned a lot, and now we're focused on conference and
Yeah.
putting ourselves in a good spot?
Every time it's all about growth. You got to get better, and we are getting better. We're not getting the results that we want, but it's part of the process. No different than last year. Get better every weekend, every day in practice, and then the results hopefully eventually would take care of themselves. And we have gotten better. We've had ups and downs early in the year. Is it leveling off a little bit? Yeah, but to a point where we're able to win a game? No, we haven't did that. Non-conference games are important. I think just as important as league games. Obviously, league games, there's obviously standings and points, which is obviously the name of the game. But we just got to focus on being our best here on Friday and trying to find a way to win a hockey game the right way.
I don't know how much tape of Tech you've been able to dive into, but I don't know if anything stands out with their new coaching staff, how they might play different, or what presents you guys the most challenges this week?
Yeah, they do play a little bit different. I think they're obviously a real good team. A lot of respect for Billy and his staff. They played some tough opponents. We like their group of forwards. Obviously, whether you call it or luck or not, they got two of the best forwards back when they weren't supposed to be there. Gordon and Sardarian, two of the best forwards in the CCHA. That makes a difference. They're a threat when they're on the ice, and they got some guys back from last year that are key pieces for them up front. A little bit, their decore's a little bit different, but they're good off the rush, good in transition, forecheck well. Special teams are good. You brought the goaltender over from Lindenwood's a good goaltender, and we'll tweak a couple things, but for us, our identity, if we were having to build our identity, it would be closer to the Saturday game against Augustana. That's a tough team to play against because we had the puck a lot. In the name of the game, you got to have puck possession. You want to be on the attack. You want to generate some offense. And for us, it's a matter of capitalizing. And we're going to have to do that against Tech. But special teams, goaltending, having the puck, face-offs, all that's going to matter because obviously it's a great college rivalry. The venues are going to be sold out. It's just what college hockey is all about. And it brings the best in you. It should bring the best out of you. And, we played them how many times last year? 5 times, if not more. I think 2 or 3 of them went to overtime. They're always tightly contested. Emotions are high. And we're going to have to stay out of the penalty box, speaking of that, because they got a real good power play. But, we got to take the next step. We got to generate offense by breaking pucks out, managing puck the right way when we don't have plays to be made, and then we got to be good on the special teams.
Are you at the point where you're gonna alternate goalies each night?
You know what? We've discussed that. I think they've each had 5 starts, and they've been playing well for us. And I think that's great competition. Do we want to get continuity? Yes, but I think they've been playing so good for us and giving us a chance to win every game. We might go to that rotation. We're still kind of sorting through that a little bit.
You talked about special teams on Saturday getting the 4 solid chances. Friday night, you had the 1 shot on the power play in the first, and you had a 5-on-3, and you had like 1 shot on the power play.
Yep.
Was it their positioning? Was it hanging on to the puck too long? Was it trying to find the perfect play, the perfect shot? What was the situation you saw on Friday night?
Yeah. On the power play, you talk about puck speed, and you got to get the puck moving around to get them out of position. And our movement was way too slow, too predictable. And so we talked about that. We made some adjustments. on Saturday, and we were a lot better. But when you're in the 5-on-3, you got to get some grade A's. You got to get momentum off that. We were unable to do that, and so we
You
had.
score about 10 seconds after that. But yeah.
Yeah, but you
Yeah,
got
you gotta get off.
you get energy. That's one thing. Tech's power play. They get a lot of energy and rhythm to their game off their power play, and that's what you got to do. You got to get some rhythm. You got to get some energy. Knowing if you keep a team hemmed down for a minute and a half and you're getting 4 or 5 shots in the power play, that's good momentum to carry through, even if you don't score for the next shift. And we were unable to do that on Friday night in Augustana.
Dave Ellis just texted me wanting to know how you're planning on cutting down the number of shots you're giving up. You did that on Saturday quite a bit, and generating more goal scoring in general.
Did he watch Saturday's game? Did he see the box score like every other fan? Yeah, we did that on Saturday. That's the goal every single night. It's a good observation, Dave.
Let's kind of recap a little bit. You go from a barn burner of a set against Michigan Tech and, swept on the road. How's the overall mood of the team after, I would say, a up and down kind of week?
Yeah, I mean, we split on the road, but we got swept at Parkside.
Yes.
I understand your point, but we did win at Roosevelt.
Yep.
Yeah, the Tech match, I think, is probably a good place to start. I mean, incredible match, right? Incredible crowd. Those matches always have heightened emotions. And so to go out there and perform the way we did, we are injured. We have an injury that's, limiting us a little bit, but to go in there and play the way we did, and then in that fifth set, to 20 to 18 is just wild. My emotions were just
Yeah,
crazy.
I saw the reaction.
Yeah, I try not to be overly emotional. I really do. I promise. But in those types of moments, I mean, if there was ever a time to express yourself, physically, I think that would have been it. Because we fought off a couple really tough match points, and then, to get that opportunity, Mackenzie Gruner had a career night, 24 kills, and to get that final kill for us was really something special. And, then you go on the road, we play at Roosevelt, who had been struggling this year, and, get a win in a really weird gym. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Roosevelt's gym, but like the L train, like literally goes right by it, like every 5 minutes. So it's kind of wild. But we got the win there on Halloween night. And then the next day going to Parkside, I'm not shocked what happened. I feel like we had been kind of playing with fire for the last week and a half, 2 weeks with, our performance. We haven't really been playing the way we're capable of. And we also, Parkside's only lost one match at home this season. And so, very disappointed. The team knows that with our performance. But, we just got to learn from it and move on and focus on Ferris here Friday. But it was an opportunity that we squandered, and we just got to kind of flush it and learn from it and move on.
You mentioned hosting Ferris here at home. You guys have been on the road a lot this year. How's it feel to finally be at home and really to end the regular season and keep moving up the ladder?
Yeah. Only 2 home weekends so far, and so we have the last 2 weekends at home, which is like amazing, especially this time of year. It's nice to be home, and it's also nice to make teams come to us, right? It's a little bit cooler up here. It's a little bit longer of a travel. The sun's not out quite as long, and so, you put these road teams at a little bit more of a disadvantage this time of year. But Ferris is the number 1 team in our conference. Just lost a really tough 5-setter to Grand Valley on Saturday, and so we have every they're now playing for like the conference championship, right? So they're coming here with that extra motivation, not that they need it. And so we need to be prepared for them. They're very well rounded. They graduated basically their entire starting lineup last year, but they've replaced it with some really, really important pieces. And Gabby Piazza on the outside is one of their really key pieces. And Emily May on the right side, number 2, is also very good. And so kind of in that Grand Valley, Ferris, Wayne State like mold, like they're all kind of very similar. And we went 5 with both of them at home, 2 weeks ago. And so we just got to be ready to play. And we're also playing, we're sitting right now at 4th place. The top 4 host the quarterfinal match in the GLIAC tournament. And so these matches matter just as much for us because we don't want to get on the road until the semis. At the most. So, we just got to be ready. And it starts with, we took yesterday off, as we do always this time of year, and then just back to work today.
How exciting and nerve-wracking is it this time of year where you could be 2, you could go to 6, you could go to 7.
Yeah.
But the emotions of not only yourself, but the team and the nerves of each and every game.
Yeah, it's this. I'm the guy that sits in his office and pulls up the standings and pulls up the schedule and just simulates what could potentially happen. But then when we get in front of the team, you can't really focus on that, right? Because all you can control is the touch on the ball, the delivery of the set, the attack, your defensive system, your offensive system. And so it is kind of like a Jekyll and Hyde where I'm in my office like a crazy person, but then I go into the gym and it's like, how can you control your next action? And that noise isn't really a part of it. Super exciting though, knowing, and then the team's not stupid. They're not like, what's happening? They know exactly what's happening. And so it's kind of tempering that nervousness about the weight of every win and loss, but also using as motivation. I think it can be a motivating factor is knowing like, hey, if you want to play one more game in Vandeman Arena, these matches are really important, and we're playing Davenport on Saturday as well, where there's a very high probability that match could maybe be the determining factor between hosting and not hosting. And so, you have to put all of your energy and your focus into Ferris, but on the coaching staff side, we really have to make sure we're aware of what Davenport's been doing the last couple weeks, and because they took it to us when we were at Davenport, and so it's on us to kind of answer the call on Saturday as well.
Does your attack change at all when a middle like Mackenzie is really rolling, or has it evolved this year? As she's gotten more comfortable.
Like priority, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As opposed to an outside, being your big kill getter on a given night.
Yeah, the thing with the middle, the outside's easy because you can just chuck it to the outside, right? And that's what we've done historically. And, I probably sat in this room and said, we're going to have to be different this year. And that's what it is, right? Kenzie getting, all of these reps is not something that would have ever happened last year. But you have to go based on your personnel. And, Emmy and Kenzie, have been really successful. And so, I say to Allie, like, I can't remember what match it was. Oh gosh, maybe it was Tech. But anyways, Allie was going away from Kenzie, and I was like, Allie, what are you doing? And she's like, well, they're putting up this block. I was like, I do not care. Set Kenzie the ball, right? She is the most. It's like throwing to Calvin Johnson in triple coverage. Just chuck the ball to Calvin Johnson, right? If you get the opportunity, give the ball to Kenzie. And I say this to the team often, like in a timeout, if I'm like, this is what we're gonna do, and if it fails, it's on me. And I will eat that, but I want you to do this, right? Just to give them that comfort of okay, if as long as they trust in me, we go for it. And also understanding even if it does fail, doesn't mean it was the wrong decision. It's just part of his execution. You can't determine exactly what the other side of the net's going to do every time. So, but yes, and going into next year, Kenzie's a senior, so Kenzie's going to graduate. And we're going to, have to reevaluate what our offense is going to be. Same with, Kaylee McIntosh, our freshman outside who went down versus Wayne. She was slowly becoming kind of part of that, where it was limit Kaylee's reps. And I brought Allie during a match and said, give Kaylee more reps, give her these opportunities, moving them around. So, it has to change match to match based on what the defense presents. But also at the same time, everyone in the league knows that Kenzie's going to get the ball, and I'm still telling Allie, give Kenzie the ball, knowing that everyone's planning for her because she is that good. And it also relieves some of the stress that gets put on, Casey Baki and Sid Bartles, who's replacing Kaylee right now, and Maddie York, because teams are focusing on them, and so hopefully they're having more success because of teams' hyper fixation on Kenzie.
We reported on the GLVC and how that was going to work for the program this season. Just how has that gone for you, being in that conference, that partnership?
Yeah, I think we have a really fortunate situation to be, I think, in the best conference in America. Right? There's two powerhouse programs in there with McKendree and Grand Valley, and then with us, William Jewell. And I believe Quincy listed in the national rankings in the preseason. To have five teams in the national rankings will give us some good competition once we get into conference play. So our first date with the conference duels will be December 7, and so we'll focus there when we get there. But I think just from a vision standpoint for where I'm at, being a first-year head coach, and kind of what we're trying to build towards and the company that we want to keep, once we get this thing built, I couldn't ask for a better situation on that to guarantee that we're going to see some of the best competition in the country in conference, and then a part of our regular season schedule in preparation for the postseason, for sure.
If you want to get into, you mentioned your vision in building up the program, where do you see it going in the future, and what is your mindset as a coach?
Yeah, I think it's I'm getting used to saying that I'm rebuilding a program that finished top 15 in the country for the last 3 years in a row, right? Like producing All-Americans and adding to the tradition of wrestling here at Northern. While maybe some of that is mostly in the Greco-Roman program, we've done our part in the early part of that of having some success at the national level. But this is a little bit of a rebuild, right? I think we're focused on culture. We're focused on competitive behaviors right now. We're focused on making sure that we have the right student athletes in the program, and the girls that are upstairs in the wrestling room, they are every bit of that. I mean, their buy-in, the bond that's being built amongst them, just the communication that's going on. They're excited about the partnership that me and Coach Markuson are providing them on an individual basis, what we're doing from a team standpoint. And I mean, the vision is to compete with the best teams in the country, right? I made it very clear to them when, when we had our first team meeting, like, this will never be about us versus them, right? I don't want it to be, I mentioned Grand Valley and McKendree, in conference. Like, I don't want it to be us versus them. I want to be the best us that we can be, and focus on our process, and just give ourselves the best opportunity to develop every day, and set benchmarks for evaluation, and kind of chase those things down inch by inch, and not try to sprint to the finish. We got it doesn't have to be today. It could be tomorrow. And kind of roll from there.
Is that kind of how it goes with this kind of sport too, considering it is a team sport, but it is all focused on, yes, we want this person to set this kind of goal. You kind of see that in cross country, track and field, and it's huge in wrestling. Is that just kind of the mindset that you have for it is a team sport, but it's based on the fact that it's on individual results?
Yeah, I think a lot of team sports, right, they have playbooks, right? And if we have 16 individuals, they got 16 different playbooks. And there are some commonalities and some baseline skills that, we got to be competent in. We got to, have some tactics and some match strategy that's probably team-wide, type thing. But, how Abby Miles wrestles at 180 pounds is going to be different than how Jamie Cook wrestles at 124 pounds. And just skill sets and confidence and style. And, and I'm really pleased with where we're at. We're 7-8 weeks into this thing, and I think we're doing a really good job on the individualism side, and kind of building up, their competitive playbook, and making sure that they have a pathway that they're confident in, and going into competition that isn't just knowledge of skill, but it's execution and match, and kind of limiting some things down for them a little bit. But yeah, absolutely. Like I think we would waste a lot of time in training if we would just really focus on full team. Today's the day. I've been in the wrestling room since 6 a.m. doing individuals and rotating people in for 45, 60-minute sessions, and just kind of hitting some skills. We do that every Tuesday, Thursday. And, but I think that allows them the opportunity in a one-on-one session to ask questions, and really personalize what we're doing from a sports standpoint. And in wrestling, right, we don't get to pass the ball to someone else, right? We have to take ultimate accountability for that when we step on the mat and compete. And so for them to build their self-confidence and belief in the skill set that they're going to try to execute is everything. And I'm really happy. We're not there yet, right? But I think we had a really strong opening week this past weekend, and looking forward to building on that. And just it's a process as we build throughout it, for sure.
Last weekend, what really stood out to you at an individual level, or just overall, things that were really good, and maybe things that need to go better?
Yeah, I think from an individual performance standpoint, there's 2 of them, right, that I've coached in collegiate competition prior to being here, and so it's easy to have some expectation for those individuals. But we talked a lot as a team throughout last week that we're focused on competitive behaviors, and what does our preparation look like? What does our emotional control and focus look like? Are we confident enough to wrestle full 6-minute matches and not feel like I have to panic if I'm behind on the scoreboard at the break, or what that looks like? And so we're really focused on that. We had great individual performances, like Jamie Cook, a true freshman, pins a returning national qualifier in her debut tournament. Sophia Bassino as a sophomore, didn't qualify for the national tournament last year. Beat number 8 in the country, returning All-American from North Central. Abby Miles pinned the number 13 girl in the country in the finals, and pretty fast, and had some really good competitive matches outside of that maybe we won, maybe we fell on the short end, but from a competitive behavioral standpoint was incredible. Those were awesome. What we celebrated most in our team meeting yesterday were how we conducted our business as a team, right? From our pre-competition workout the night before, to our weight management, to supporting each other, then also what does that balance look like between being selfish in an individual tournament and taking care of what your needs are, while also being the best team that you can be. And sometimes that's rah-rah in the corner and cheering your teammate on and giving that motivational side. And sometimes that's being selfish and just making sure that you're ready to do your best individual performance. And I thought the team did a unbelievable job of that. There's always things to clean up, and you can nitpick. I'm the world champion at doing some nitpicking on details, but I think for week 1 they did a phenomenal job of what we need to build. Right? Yes, we need to do some individual winning, and we need to provide some results. Like, we're not going to wait for that, but we're not going to snap our fingers and be the best team in America from a team culture standpoint. When you're rebuilding it, we have to be intentional about delivering on that every day that we step in the facility and when we travel and when we compete.
I hope this doesn't come off as a silly question.
Yeah.
As a baseball coach, if I say throw a fastball down the middle, you know it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Casey says, hey, JC, shoot the 3. You know JC's going to shoot the 3.
Mm-hmm.
As a wrestling coach, you guys yell, run the half.
Yeah.
Grab an ankle.
Yeah.
Doesn't that kind of tip off the wrestler that
Sure.
you know it's coming?
Sure. But I think there's, if you're, yes, but, there's mostly such small positional details that it's, they're in a position and you're finishing them out, right? If I'm leading them to an entry on a leg attack, like poster elbow, get to your high crotch, it's pretty telling, right? They're going to drop their elbow and kind of get things in position and not have a straight arm or drop their hand off them. But those details, and I think I'm an intense competitor, but at the same time, you got to have some emotional control in how you communicate. And this early in the season, we're not that detailed yet, right? We will be, but that stuff happens in the practice room. And if we've done our job upstairs, we don't have to be saying too much, and kind of giving them their cues as they're finishing positions and scoring their points. And everyone needs those reminders, right? It's hopefully we're beyond, grab their wrist and get to a single leg. It's more, hey, close your outside shoulder, knee pound, turn the corner tight, keep your head tight to the attack, and things like that they're already there. It's just their reminders to finish the position and get the points on the board.
Sweet. Thanks, Coach. You guys, last 2 years, a lot of positive momentum for the program. This year, you're bringing a lot back. I'm sure some new faces that we'll get to know as well.
Yep.
Throughout the preseason, what's been different to you? What's been really good, really encouraging going into this new year?
There's been a lot, actually. It's been a really good preseason for us right now. Our team is working really hard in the weight room. They're working really hard on the court. And just it's a different vibe. It's a different energy, which is fun. Happy with what we've done in the past couple seasons, but this is a totally new team. We do have some key people back, obviously, but we got a bunch of new people too that are going to really contribute in different ways. And they're doing it from, again, anywhere in the weight room, on the court, and even in the community, which has been awesome.
Yeah. JC specifically, what is she like as a leader, and what is it now once you get into conference play that these teams, they know everything about her at this point, and how does that maybe change, how she approaches games, especially in conference?
JC as a leader has been phenomenal. And not that she wasn't great before, but this year she's taking a huge, giant leap and saying, hey, this is my team and we're going to do this. She's been pushing people in the weight room. She's talking about how she's adding more weight and adding more weight. We just did some testing this last week and everybody hit a new record in something in the weight room. And it's across the board. It's not just one or two people, which has kind of been in the past. You had, the people who kind of lead and who are in the weight room a lot, who can put up a lot of weight, but she just keeps going and she's pushing everybody else to get a little bit better each and every day. And she's really taking the lead, but it's also the other seniors that she has around her, the Sarah Newcomer, Alyssa Hill. I mean, even CJ and Rito, they might not get a ton of playing time. Reed's been within our program for a long time, and she adds so much to our program. But JC's right there kind of leading the way with CJ, our super senior. We have a great leadership group, and our seniors are really ones saying, hey, we're not done yet. Like, we got a season to go, and they're really pulling the team with them.
I wanted to ask about CJ too, because she impressed me a lot as a point guard, just the classic floor general. Just how nice is it for you as a coach to know ball's going to be in her hands a lot and she knows what to do with it?
It's been very comforting. And she's still getting better too, even though it's her 5th year here for us. But she was, I think, still figuring out us last year too as a coaching staff and knowing what we wanted. And she kind of split time with Mac last year. And now this year she's again taking full reins and saying, all right, this is what we're doing and this is how we're doing things. I mean, she's probably our best communicator, hands down. Which is what you want out of a floor captain. And you ask her to do something, and she's like, okay, how fast, how hard? What do you want me to do, coach? I got you. And so, again, it's just our leadership has been phenomenal in our preseason. Yes, conference is going to be hard. Yes, this weekend's going to be hard. But I think they're really eager, and they're ready to get out and play against somebody else instead of keep playing against ourselves. So
To use a hockey term, last year you guys used line changes.
we did. We did.
Played 5-5.
Yep.
Where do we sit this year? Obviously a deep team.
Yeah.
You plan on line changes this year? Is it more down to 8? Is it 12 for the first weekend? Because it is the first weekend?
Well, we're playing 3 games back to back to back, so you're going to see a lot of players. Hopefully, really good production out of everybody who gets an opportunity to play on the court. We're not really sure yet of line changes just yet, or if it's just we're going to kind of feel some lineups. We're still kind of figure out who plays well together. We are a pretty deep team right now, which is great. Especially when you open your opening weekend, you play 3 games, and then the following weekend you play 2 games back to back. So, but we've been working hard, and it's going to be a lot of people playing at a lot of different times, and they just got to contribute and be productive, and then they're going to stay on the floor.
Last year you had a lot of production. White House, Pitsletsky, Bate, Schrader. How does their presence help them going into year 2 and what they can expect on the floor? And obviously you have a transfer this year as well.
They were freshmen last year, now they're sophomores. It's phenomenal. They really put in the work this summer. I really can say that our work ethic outside of what we can do has been huge. It's not the coaching staff forcing people to be in the gym. They're in the gym constantly, and it's our job now to manage them and say, hey, you need to step away for a little bit and take a day off. Your body needs to rest. But that eagerness is there, and that freshman class that now are sophomores are going to contribute a lot to what we do this year. But they really mold really well with our seniors class, and they're all getting along, and very competitive group in everything that we do, but at the same time they're pushing each other and they're supporting each other, and it's a really fun group to be around right now.
How do you prep for these teams this weekend that you don't see every year? I don't know if you've ever played against them before.
Nope.
And there's nothing on tape from this season. How do you get ready for it?
Well, the best thing is they don't really have a lot of tape on us either for this season. So we go into it focused a little bit more on us and making sure that we're doing things right the way that we want to do things. But then, yeah, we got to be adaptable. If they run some things that we haven't seen before, we haven't really gone over a ton in practice, we got to be able to adjust. That's kind of what our prep has been the last couple of weeks has been, okay, if they do this, we got to counter. If they do that, we got to counter. We can defend this, and really kind of throwing everything at our team. And we tell them, like, hey, we don't know what we're going to expect, but we feel really good about where we're at and what we've gone over, that we should be able to adapt. And then obviously you lean on your seniors a little bit. They know what we expect. They know what we want. And our sophomore class who got in last year, that's who we're going to be relying on a lot this weekend. But yeah, our new people still are going to step in there too and, throw them in the deep end and see what happens.
Would you say that's the big expectation kind of going into these 3 back-to-back games? You don't have tape on them, they don't have tape on you. It's just more of seeing how adaptable your team can be in situations like that. Would you say that is the big expectation?
We have some really big team expectations, and it's more from our team of what we want to do this year. And this is a great starting point for us. So we're going to see what we're made of, and we're going to see how tough we can be, and we're going to see, yes, how we can adapt and how we can make adjustments, but at the same time, making sure that they got to stop us. Like that's what we got to go with right now. We have a lot of different ways that we can attack and we can score. And it's more, I'm a defensive coach, so I'm more like, okay, we got to be able to stop them and defend a little bit too. But if we can get up shots, we're getting up shots, and we're getting up shots fast.
How mentally tough do you have to be that first month of the season where you're on the road in Pennsylvania, on the road in the Dells? You do get a home game, but then you go on the road to Crookston, then you're in Kenosha and Chicago. How mentally tough is that? How mentally draining is that?
Hey, it's the Northern way, right? Like we know we got to travel. And that's kind of like our November every year is we get a couple home games, but we're going to be on the road a lot. I love going back to Wisconsin because I think that's kind of like a home game for us. Everybody has an opportunity to see their family and friends, with the majority of our team from Wisconsin, which is kind of fun too. And then, yeah, we're going over to Minnesota, and we got a couple home games in between. Again, it's you talk about it, you prepare, and this is what we do in conference, right? You got to travel in conference too. And so this is why we have this tough schedule. This is why we, schedule the way we have. I might not be the smartest coach sometimes, but you got to play good teams to compete in the GLIAC. I mean, there's not a game you can take off. You're going full bore, and why not start in Pennsylvania this weekend with 3 games against really good teams and really good competition to see where we're at.
You talked about the GLIAC. Number 2, you had Grand Valley, you, Ferris, I guess. How do you view the GLIAC as you guys start?
GLIAC is always tough. Doesn't matter. Women's basketball, Division II, the GLIAC would be the best conference. And I would take that, obviously, with Grand Valley winning it last year. But then Fair State going to the Elite Eight. I mean, we have a very tough conference. It's not a game that you can take off. And for us, yeah, we're number 2, but again, it doesn't mean anything till March, and then we'll see what happens there. There's a lot of games to play before then, and I told our team it's awesome that we get recognized, but we're not done. We're just starting, and we have a lot to prove, and it's going to be a target every single game that we play, just because we do have that number 2 seat, but at the same time, we're ready for it, and we're gung-ho about it, and we're going to take it, with everything that we got, we're going to put it on the court each and every day.
Blown for 5 goals, biggest win of the season there on Friday, and then I thought it was kind of a weird shot on Sunday with Kenna's only goal, but just kind of talk about how perfect of a weekend that was for your senior group. You're going on the road, probably going on the road for the playoffs too. How special was that this weekend for you?
Yeah, really cool weekend for everyone affiliated with the program, but especially the seniors. Their last games at home, most likely, and our first 6-point weekend. And you think about how a season progresses and the things that you want to see out of your team. And I think I said it early on in the season, it's a group that never gives up and never quits. And then this weekend, we added a lot of quality to that. And that started on Friday, like you rightly said, are the most goals we scored all season. And they were good goals too. Bit of a hiccup conceding the one early in the second half. We were pretty disappointed with that, but the response after that goal was great. And then, following that performance up with what we did on Sunday against a really good Wisconsin Parkside team was phenomenal. And we played well, and we earned that result. That was a truly tough, team-driven result. And I couldn't be more happy for them. And I said that right after the game, but you reflect on it and you think about everything that those seniors have put into the program and everything that they've given, and for them to remember their senior day like that is incredible.
You talked about storybook ending too with senior goalkeeper and Jillian Thompson as well. A great person for this Wildcat soccer team for however long she's been here, to get that clean sheet victory too and be able to send it off the right way.
Definitely. Yeah, we haven't had a lot of those this season. So nothing more special than getting one of those on senior day. And again, she had some things to do. Our defense had some things to defend. So it was a well-earned shutout. And she stood up to every test she faced, along with our team. And so the goal from Kenna was a great goal. But on the flip side of that, we kept the ball out of the net, which we struggled to do this season. So all around, very happy with the performance from the team on Sunday.
What's the approach this week, having one game and knowing, quarterfinal games not too far beyond that? Just, is there a final push? Like, yes, we got our last home game, senior day, out of the way, and everyone's all in now. Just what's it been like, in practice and meetings?
Sure. I think it's the same as it always is, right? We're preparing for this final regular season game, just like we have for every other game. I think Purdue Northwest is going to be a tough team. They're battling for a conference berth, and so they're gonna give us everything they have, just like every other team we've played. So I think for us, it's regrouping, it's recovering, it's getting our game plan intact, and making sure we go in there with a lot of life because, we want to win as many games as we can. Wherever that puts us, we want to be as successful as we possibly can. And I think, we're coming off of a 3-game, success. We're in a good run of form here. We want to see that continue, especially as we're climbing into the playoffs. And so we'd love to have one more quality, game under our belt where we can feel proud of our performance as we prepare for the postseason. So I don't think it's any different. We're going to approach it just like it's a do or die game for us. And hopefully we can go out and perform well, and that gets us in a good headspace as we get on the road to go for our first playoff game.
Well, Coach, the boys kind of rolling.
Yep.
How do you keep them kind of grounded and knowing like a lot of goals that you talked about at the beginning of the season are still in front of you, and there's
Yeah, everything's still there for us.
Runway ahead of you.
I just think I know it's really cliche. It's just going to keep doing what we're doing. It's always been about one game at a time and one exercise at a time, one moment at a time. I don't think it's really changed. So I don't think that changes anything. And like I told, I think in the post-game interview we've been kind of in playoff mode for a few weeks, just with that tough weekend. We needed results to be where we are right now. And so they had their back against the wall. So they've kind of already been in this situation. We knew going in that we were going to host a game, so nothing really changes from our routine. It's just I think it's keep doing what you're doing, stay hungry, stay humble. We've never won anything still, so I don't know why anybody would at this point be like, okay, we're good, we've made it. We have not made it. We are still at the steepest part of the mountain, is what I tell the guys. So that's what we'll start today and get ready for Sunday that way.
Ian, Shyiak, player of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weimer.
What's it like for you as coach to see that honor and him as a sophomore really?
Yeah, right. It feels great, honestly, because he had a tough season last year as a freshman. It was tough to get on the field. And he honestly just changed himself, his personality, his work rates. He just made a massive change in his habits overall. So to see that being rewarded and paying off now with goals at the end of the season and, ability to play 90 minutes, it's amazing to see, because he just kept going and found the right mentors. And we knew at the beginning of the season there was something there, but he just wasn't able to make it past 15, 20 minutes of playing the way he plays because he plays at a high intensity. But once he started to get fit, and even he had an injury midseason, and that was a tough game. He didn't play at Davenport, right after our big weekend. So that was a big miss, I think, on the road there. We had to kind of alter our starting lineup. So, yeah, it's great to see. He's a great kid, and the guys love him. And I think you noted the haircut celebration. There is an inside story to that. It wasn't just planned. So, but I'll just say he's a good barber. I'll just put it that way. So, yeah.
Well, now you get the same team you played on Sunday,
Yeah.
and while they are, they haven't had the season they've wanted. They came out of the gates on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Got a little chippy towards the end too. You got to match their intensity this weekend. What have you been kind of working on to ensure that you set the tone really well going to the playoffs?
Yeah, I think. I haven't really seen the guys. Who was off yesterday. We were out. I'll put it this way: we were out cleaning the gutters around the dome facility with Andy and his crew for our civic engagement day. So we were cleaning gutters yesterday, and I think that's the best place to start. We're going to be humble, and it doesn't matter what happened on Sunday. And it like I said last week, it's all about us and what we do. It's not about the opposition and what they do. Yes, they have some tricky guys. Every GLIAC game is tough, but it's about at the end of the day, our preparation, how we manage our minds and our body going into the game. And there could be some unique circumstances as well, which is part of our mantra. It doesn't matter anytime, any place, anywhere. So we're just going to, take advantage of the extra day to recover because it's on Sunday and not Friday. and train hard Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and get ready for Sunday. I think just stick with what you're doing. Nothing really changes. You know, we're climbing and chasing for anything we can get as a program. So this game is no different than any other game that we've actually played. So it's really about just, you know, that part. I think the one thing that I could help ensure, and maybe you guys as well, is getting as many people into that field as possible and around the field and in the site and tailgating and getting the community out. I think that's the only thing that I think I can really control at this point. So we had about 300 people, 350 people last week. I think we could easily get to 500, and there's no reason why we couldn't get 1,000 people at that site on Sunday. So that is what I think I can do to help prepare for the game.
And just to confirm, this will be happening outside, even if it snows, can't do it in the dome?
I don't make those decisions. So, yeah, that's not even, I don't think on the table at all. It's an inch. So I think it's great. We're happy about it.
You get to use the November Marquette weather.
Exactly. Right. This is a dream come true. You know, when you're looking at hosting a playoff game in Marquette, you kind of want it to be like this. So we're used to it. We're happy about it. It's going to be fun.
How cool is it that you guys are hosting it?
I mean, it's great. You know, as we've talked a lot, it's all about those cultural signposts. You're moving in the right direction. You're moving forward. So it's great for these guys. It would suck to blow it. So it's be careful what you wish for, right? You want to be better. You want to be playing in big games later in the season. Well, when you play in those big games, they mean a lot more. And they're the difference between your program, you know, getting better or lifting off. Right into the stratosphere, which is, I think, where everybody wants to go. So they have to understand the moment and the gravity of the situation is they need to get a result on Sunday. Like, they need to play their best game and get a result for this program. So
Is it also?
How important is it that Ian was named Player of the Week, just to give the other teams the fact that we just can't cover Luka only?
yeah, I mean, I think so. Yeah, I mean, Luka was man of the match because he had 2 in that game. But over the course of because again, you know, strikers they want the points all the time. So I think it was great for Ian's confidence and to recognize, hey, we're not just a one-trick pony. We got multiple guys that can hurt you. Same with Chun. He can score too. So, but you know, I think it's just great for Chino and for him to get that award and just, you know, again, hard work pays off, right, at the end of the day. And that's the message we send to the rest of the guys that are, you know, trying to get on the field and trying to get minutes. You know, look at what Ian's done. 67 minutes last year. Offensive Player of the Week this year. You know, that's kind of like Davian. You know, Davian didn't play much his first year. 8, 9, 10 starts this year. You know, that's a beautiful part of development, and you know that's how you get better. You develop and you recruit, and I think we've done both of those things.
How much more energy is this game going to give to the younger class or the lower classmen, knowing that win or lose, this is more than likely probably the last home game of the season, to try to give these seniors a good lift off going into.
Yeah, it's all up to our bench. If those guys don't show up, then we're not going to win the game. You know, if those guys don't bring the energy and excitement and support that they've brought for the last 16 games, our first team will not be up for it. So I think that you'll see the energy. It won't be a problem. It will not be a problem. Once they saw those vuvuzelas, it was over last week. So, yeah.
Sweet.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.